So, good morning everyone. Welcome to our today's Light and Building Recap session 2026. For us, this is a double premiere in two respects. So, first of all, it's Elsner Elektronik's first recap show for the trade fair Light and Building. And secondly, it's a pleasure also to be with Bastian Elsner today in our webinar, managing this webinar. So stay tuned for the upcoming trade fair recap information. So, Bastian, it's up to you now.
Yes. Hello everyone, also from my end. Very glad that so many of you are joining today's session. Yes, I'm very glad to present and show some of our new solutions that we had with us in Frankfurt. Very much looking forward to today's session.
Yes, perfect. So, and also from my side, a warm welcome. Again, my name is Henry Kohl. I'm the sales manager of Elsner Elektronik. So in charge of the activities, the sales activities for both domestic and international sales. Okay, so at first, Bastian, please tell us your personal impression regarding the fair and tell us one secret about this topic of the guardian angel. What is it about?
Yes, would love to. Thank you for the introduction. As you can see here, some impressions from this year's Light and Building. For us as the company Elsner, it was a very successful fair. We are still very busy with the follow-up because we made a lot of new contacts during the fair. Also, from my experience, even the conversations on the Sunday, that is usually a little bit slower and more consumer focused. They came to the booth very well informed, and it was a very good level of conversations that we were having during the fair. We also had many new products that we had with us to present, but we also had a communication novelty with us. Henry mentioned it already. We started with our Guardian campaign. Because we hold a very firm opinion that every smart building needs a guardian, and in the best case, this guardian is engineered by Elsner, but set up by you, our partners and our customers. Because we also know that the project value really is only created if good sensor mechanics work with a very well defined and smart building integration. The sensor alone cannot really do anything. That's why we want to go out with this campaign and really put the system integrator in the focus, because a sensor alone only works if it's being integrated well enough.
Okay, very nice. So thanks for that and for your explanation. And let's moving on the learning goals. As mentioned, we have a lot of new launches, and we also want to show how to use them. We will also give an update of the new ETS applications, so our new approach, but also giving you a heads up regarding the conversion process towards KNX TP Secure. And so our agenda, in principle, we want to showcase a selection of KNX products and new releases for the hospitality sector, and as well, of course, can be used also in the residential and commercial building application. The new outdoor and weather sensors we want to show you. So even parameter examples. And another topic, because not everything is ready on time, as you can imagine, we also want to give you a preview of the upcoming launches this year and even later. So let's start with the first topics. Again, a selection of hotel applications. Bastian, this topic is new but old.
Yes, it's a product we have in our range since quite some time, but for the new secure integration, we also adapted the application quite a bit. Maybe first one, maybe the obvious things. We are trying to follow with our product philosophy ease of use. It's very, very important that even a small child, but also someone who probably is not too connected to modern day technology, can make use of this device. So the usability and ease of use is very important for us. So we're trying to let a room thermostat be a room thermostat and not putting too much functionality on there. This is also one of the reasons why we like to use this one in hotel projects, because there's nothing worse than needing an explanation on how to use the room controls when checking in into a new room. So we have the real glass surface with the temperature controller and with the temperature sensor integrated. The device can be configured as a master or a slave unit. We also use the data secure for the encrypted data transmission.
Okay, perfect. Let's move on. This is, let's say, our ETR 102 FC, which is also a room controller, but with the focus on fan coil application. So we use that for heating and cooling systems. So in a simple term, consists of a heating exchanger and a fan. So hot or cold water is circulated through the heat exchanger as needed, while the fan blows the continuous air into the room. For this reason, the ETR 102 FC allows for individual adjustment of heating and cooling capacity, as well as the 3-speed fan control. So you can see it on the surface, which is real glass. So you have the set point adjustment via plus minus buttons and the fan speed on top of it, and below you can switch in the automatic mode, and on the right side you can activate or deactivate the whole system. Okay, Bastian, what's next?
Next up, we have our KNX ETR DND MUR. DND stands for Do Not Disturb, and MUR for Make Up Room. So we're trying to follow a similar design philosophy when it comes to the ETR, a very clear design language, so no one needs to ponder very long what I can actually do with this device. We have binary inputs and temperature sensors integrated. How does this work? We have two models. First up, we have the model with the bell. This is designed to be the external unit that goes on the outside of the hotel room. Then there's also the internal unit in which the customer or the guest in the hotel room can state if they would like their room to be cleaned, or if they would like to sleep in, for example, and have the Do Not Disturb activated. Huge benefit doing something like this with KNX is that the common hotel management systems usually plan the facility management according to the actual need. So it's not really state of the art anymore that the facility team is walking through the hotel and is checking in which room it needs to be cleaned and which not. Usually this is done via a hotel management system. Most of them have a KNX interface, and that's why those objects are very practical for doing so. We already fulfilled the first projects with this one, and Henry, I think they have been used not really like we have been intended, but I think it's a very interesting use case to tell nevertheless.
Absolutely, yeah. We want to share also one project insight where we have equipped a hotel with more than 100 devices. In this case, just the indoor unit. So the guest room control unit, because the customer says clearly, okay, it's not necessary to have an outdoor station as well. Even the doorbell was not required. But nevertheless, the indoor controller indicates or gives the information onto the bus and later on the management software of the hotel. And then finally it pops up at the tablet or electronic device of the cleaning stuff, and they know where to go, and that's the perfect solution. Very good. So then another topic, because we have also created a video. Good, let's continue and move on to the next chapter. Yes, as you know, we are the experts of weather sensors, shading automation, shading control, and in general outdoor sensors. Yeah, we have brought some topics with us. Also one device which we have launched last year, second half. It's our BACnet KNX module. It's the blind extension module with 8 facades. So that means we can easily expand the number of logic channels for facade control with only one outdoor sensor, or only one weather station in total. So that gives us the flexibility to even or to create even more facades or respectively logic channels for the blind control, for the blind automation. So this includes also the sled and shadow edge tracking, and can handle all the typical values like rain, wind, frost. The time function can be used as well. So it gives a clear advantage once you require more than the given channels or the channels given in the existing weather station. So that's a good thing to be even more flexible in a building or in a commercial building. The next one, Bastian, it's now up to you.
Yes, maybe we go back one more slide. I would like to add one more thing about the BX8 KNX.
Yes.
So as we know in many conversations we also held during Light and Building, there can be prevalent philosophies when it comes to outer shading. Some would love to have the entire functionality in the sensor itself, and that's what Elsner brings as a capability. So you can automate the facades in the sensor itself. But if those are not enough, we talk about the extensions. But some only want to have a seemingly not so intelligent sensor that only sending the weather data, and you want to evaluate the data inside of the house. With the BX8, we have a solution for each of those philosophies. They both have their advantages. For us, it's important that we can offer a solution for both ways. Having the automation in the sensor directly, or having just a sensor that is giving the data and the automation is created in a DIN-rail device. Both available with Elsner.
Yes, great. Good to mention. Yeah, that's a really cool feature to support both ways. Yeah, coming now to the next one, to the rain switch, Bastian.
Yes.
It's also your turn.
It has been quite a premiere for us, because if you know some of the sensors that we released in the past, they're always white, because you are always a little bit fighting against the elements, because the sun is quite powerful, and especially with the black housing, the heat protection demand of the components that are built within a device like this are much stronger and need to be way more taken into account. So we had to walk through quite a learning curve in order to make a very reliable and robust product that can be also adapted to modern design facades, because this is something we are being confronted from our partners quite a bit. Usually in a very nice, even residential project, there's an architect involved, and the last thing they usually like is having a sensor destroying the nice picture or the look of the facade. With a black sensor, it might be way easier to convince them that the sensor capability is very important and very much needed. That much about the color choice. So we are very much design driven here, but it was quite a technical challenge to make it work with the components that are set in. It is a pretty simple range switch that you can also use in the KNX area, for example, if you evaluate it with a binary contact. We have 1 meter cable length that is also specified for the use of outdoor, and we deliver a sheet metal bracket for very easy installation with cohesive 3M pad. So it goes very quick with the installation and you can mount it on the window, for example. Our use case is clearly windows that are opening up to the roof, so they can be closed automatically if a rain alarm is being triggered.
Okay, so very smart, very cute, so good solution. Okay. Yeah, we have it. I just got a sign. We have also the products with us. So this is how it looks like. And so very flat with a pad on the back side and the sensor on the front side, and with a UV resistant cable of 1 meter. Okay, great. Good. So then move on to the next chapter. So it's a pleasure from my side to present you an existing hardware. So our Suntracer Pro, but now available with a BACnet interface. So it's a really cool BACnet weather station. In our understanding is that this is the first BACnet MSTP weather station in the market. So it's developed in collaboration with the company MBS in Krefeld, and we want to set, let's say, a new standard in building automation. So that means the hardware, the Suntracer Pro hardware, features the same sensors as you know from the KNX version. But let's see, to summarize, we have the ultrasonic wind measurement, so which measures the wind speed and direction. We have the light sensor, so 5 times. Then for the intelligent shading control and sun tracking. Then we have the let's say standard sensors like temperature, but also humidity and air pressure. And last but not least, we can also detect the time signal and location via the GPS module. So the BACnet weather station is classified as B-SS, so it's the BACnet smart sensor, and transmit the measurement data directly on the bus in a standardized format to the BACnet network. And this is let's say the real benefit. We don't need any additional gateway on the telegram line, and this is, let's say, the good message to the market. We have a reliable hardware equipped with a new interface, and so we can now adapt the building automation top level with this device. So, and this is, let's say, in principle what it is. We also want to show you a bit more regarding how BACnet or how this device, this BACnet device, is going to be implemented. For that reason, as maybe some of you know, in the BACnet world we are using a so-called BACnet browser. That means in this case MBS is featuring us with their BACi, which is the BACnet browser, and we can easily browse the network, the BACnet network, and searching new devices. So like you can see here on the right side, our SunTracer Pro BACnet is identified and detected, so we can use them easily in the further integration steps. So no gateway, direct connection, that means no failure and lower latency on the bus and in the building. The next thing we want to show is, let's say, just the identification process. So while you have selected the device, you get another overview, which brings you then also to the next page. So you can easily see the basic information, can set up them, and even admin in the commissioning process. If this is done, you get a list of BACnet data points. Traditionally, you would expect, and which is the case, objects like temperature, wind speed, wind direction, humidity, the light intensity, the air pressure, the rain detection, etc., and even the sun position. So you can select, deselect the data points which are provided by the system. And this is, let's say, another feature which is very close and very similar to what you know from ETS and from the KNX world. We even provide a plug-in with a sensor to even control and make available the facade logic in the BACi, respectively in the plug-in of the BACi. So you can deactivate, activate the individual facades, and later here you can even set individual parameters and logic like you would expect from a KNX ETS application. So this makes the system even more powerful. So it's not just detecting the device via the BACnet browser, identifying the objects. It even provides you a plug-in with the logic to control facades. But of course we know this segment very well. Of course the objects and data points can be used then in the DDC automation in their own logic or created logic by the integrator or coming from a library. So this is, let's say, the powerful side of that device, and why we are doing this. Because especially in commercial buildings, let's say there are many forces in the planning phase, in the realization phase, in the commissioning phase. So we also even see, besides the room automation driven by KNX, we see of course also a strong segment in the HVAC control and even on the building automation high level. And therefore we have also this solution ready, so top level automation in BACnet and room automation, let's say with the power of KNX. Yeah, so that's the topic of the BACI. Even this we can show again on the PTZ camera. So for maybe some of you, you know this device. So we have, let me explain a bit. We have in total 17 sensor elements built in. So we have the ultrasonic, so 4 of them, which measures the wind and the wind direction, so the wind speed and the wind direction. We have even the rain sensors, 4 of them built in. Then another 4 brightness sensors here orientated on the ring. Sorry, I said 4, it's 5 sensors. Then we have humidity, air pressure and temperature, of course, and in the main element there is then again the GPS sensor on board. So that's it.
Yes, one thing I would like to add, we as the company Elsner, we see ourselves as the sensor experts, because that's what we're doing since a very long time, and we're very active in the KNX area, but KNX is not the only language that we can speak. That's why we say it's important that we offer our sensors also in the preferred language of the integrator. This one can be BACnet from time to time. There are clear advantages in some projects, in others it is more preferred to be KNX. For us it's important that we offer a very reliable and robust sensor. The language that is speaking in the second step is not too important for us.
Okay, great. Thanks for the summary. And then we move on to the chapter of new KNX products, the topic of secure, and giving you also some examples. Asjan, would you like to take this part?
Yes, would love to. So this has been a product we released round about 3 years ago in a non-secure version, and I can proudly say it's one of the most fun weather stations we ever had in the portfolio. It has quite an attractive price based on the mechanical wind measurement, for example, but there's also some other reasons. So this was the first model that we actually made in KNX Secure, and even the application got an entire rehaul. So it really can now shine in a new design. The sensor capabilities are remaining the same. So we have also the brightness sensors. We have 3 brightness sensors included for each sky direction except of the north. There you don't need it. The weather station is mounted in southward facing direction. We have wind measurement via a mechanical wind anemometer. So there's a little read contact implemented, and we're simply calculating how often the wind wheel is turning around, and according to this number we can calculate how strong the wind is blowing. On top you can see the precipitation sensor, we have a temperature sensor integrated, logic gate, timer functionality, and the device is available with a GPS sensor and without a GPS sensor. We can track or calculate rather the position of the sun, but we also have the time synchronization based on the GPS signal.
Okay, so I just want to add, because in my sales experience this is a very reliable product. Many customers are trusting this design and the hardware, so very good, and now even available in secure. Okay, Bastian, but you have more to tell.
Yes, I already mentioned the entire rehaul that we did for our ETS application, and actually that also meant that we have been joined by a new colleague who is solely responsible for our ETS applications, because we as Elsner are saying this is the tool you have to work with, and if you're having a good time with working with a nice, very well structured application, then we are hoping that you would like to use this product more often in the future. That's why we put a lot of emphasis on there, and there you can see this application is ready. The secure product is going to be released in the next couple weeks, definitely within this month, so within April 2026. And yeah, as you can see, the application has been structured entirely new if you knew it beforehand. We have now symbols for the wind, for the temperature, for the rain. It just helps to get like a color coding, so you know where to find what, and just help to find yourself around the ETS application a little bit quicker. Also a contact for the service section where you can get help from the Elsner personnel, everything there in the application overview.
Yes, thank you, Bastian. But before we continue, I would like to remind our audience, because I guessing there will be some questions for the new launches, for the new application, for even the topic of secure. So feel free and send us your questions in the chat. And having said that, there is already one question popping up, so maybe we can take it from here. Yes, this is a very famous question. So expected lifetime of the sensor with moving parts. Yes, of course. Moving parts is always different to, let's say, an electronic measurement, definitely. Besides, let's say, the measurement technology, there is also a different application behind. So with the electronic wind measurement, we are detecting not just horizontal wind direction, but also the upcoming winds on the facade, which is very important for the critical automation. With the moving or with the mechanical measurement or the mechanical technology, we are following a more simple way of measurement, but in principle with the same expectation of lifetime. You would say so, Bastian?
Yes, I 100% agree with the statement. Maybe we go back one slide, because it also seems a little bit controversial that Elsner is suddenly making a mechanical wind sensor, but it's based on a very simple reason. It also comes to the philosophy that is prevalent in building automations. We have many partners and customers that specifically like to see something moving on the facade. It gives them some sort of safety that they can see their sensor is working. Of course, with the electronic wind sensor, if you don't get a signal from the wind sensor, then the blinds should drive in safety position too, because the sensor is not giving out data anymore. So you don't really need to see if it's working or not. But some customers simply want that. For us, as the sensor expert when it comes to weather station, it is very important that we offer both of the solutions. There's also quite a price difference in the mechanical wind measurement and in the wear-free electronical wind measurement. So if we're looking at this device, this is definitely the entry point weather station for a single family home, I would say. If we're talking about commercial projects or high rises, specifically, I need to emphasize what Henry said before. We have those uplifting winds. They cannot be detected with a mechanical wind sensor, but with an electronical one. So it really depends on the use case and on the projects that you're having.
Yeah, so it's not a question of quality, it's a question of use case and perception of the customer. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope that helped to answer the question. Let's move forward in the next edition we made in the ETS application. So some of you might have heard of the context help already. If you hover over different parameters in the ETS application, you can see downstairs at the bottom side of the screen that the little context help is popping up. For the manufacturer, this is actually a lot of work because what we need to do is basically explaining every individual parameter to show how it can be configured. Setting up a shading automation in KNX is pretty high level when it comes to system integration. We have some weather stations that have more than 7,000 parameters that can be configured, so it's quite easy to get lost in the application if you don't do it every day. We as the company Elsner are trying to help with that, so we put the emphasis on the context help, which will be available for all future KNX secure applications also. But we are actually not stopping at the context help.
Okay, so great news, but what next?
What next? As some visitors might have seen at the Light and Building, because KNX Association was barely talking about anything else this edition. With the new ETS 6.4, we are getting the Smart Linking Explorer. And we prepared a little demonstration of what you can actually do with the Smart Linking controller. So the first step is you basically take the entire channel from the weather station or from the actuator, for example, and you pull it in step 2 in the Smart Linking Explorer. Just via drag and drop, it's very simple. In the next step, you then take the other channel and connect it, and the result is fully automated, created group addresses. So as mentioned, firstly, we pull down the channel 1. Next up, we pull down the channel of the facade. And then in the next step, they will be connected to the group addresses. Okay, any more questions about the smart linking in the ETS? I'm very sure if you're active in the KNX area, you will hear a lot about this in the coming weeks and months, and I truly believe this will be a new standard when it comes to parameterizing KNX products. I think it's also very important for the standard that we become a little bit more accessible and take some of the workload out and automate more. This is the first step in this direction, and Elsner goes this direction with every new product that we are releasing.
Okay, fine, good to hear. So then let's move on. Bastian, it's still your choice. We have a new wind tensor basic.
Yes. You might also say this is the little brother of the wind sensor that we showed before. So here we made an individual wind sensor. We have this as a KNX secure version, so it's something that you can add. For example, if you have a big building, then sometimes you need to set additional wind speed sensors along the facade in order to get wind measurement on one end of the building. We are working here with the mechanical wind measurement 2, and there's not only a KNX secure version, but this device is also as a conventional product with the galvanic separation and the dip switches to set up the threshold for when the wind alarm is supposed to be triggered.
Okay, so good to see. And even more, we have our first production batch. So where you can see again the mechanical wind speed sensor. So then it comes as said without any further sensors, no rain sensor or temperature sensor. It's just the white sensor housing itself and the anemometer on the lower end of the housing. So we have even a cable clamp, so for a very comfortable cable connection. So and let's say the wall mount is, as you know from the wind tensor, so very smart and efficient. Okay, good. Then let's move on to another section we have prepared for today. As we said, we are the sensor experts, and sensor means not just outdoor but also indoor. And so we are coming up with a new ETR product. This is called ETR 103 AC Secure. And this is, let's say, considered to control a VRV or VRF device, so an air conditioning system, can be also a small split unit, a split unit. And you see on the right side, it follows, let's say, our well-proved design and control concept. So we have again in the middle the temperature display, the plus minus buttons for the set point. Below we have the on-off switch on the right side, and on the left lower side the mode switch. And the mode switch is then setting the modes, which can be seen as an icon in the lower middle section, where we can control the heating, the cooling, the ventilation, but also the
dehumidification.
Exactly, thank you, Bastian. The dehumidification, which is another mode in a split unit or air conditioner. So this you can set on or with the mod switch, and if you go up in the upper level, then you can even switch in the automatic mode. And on the right side, you can then even control the fan speed of the air conditioner itself. The product comes from beginning on with data secure, so with the encrypt data transmission, as we know from the KNX nowadays. A typical application, I don't want to hide, is even to use the ETR 103 AC Secure in combination with a split unit. Here you use typically an interface to connect the objects, the KNX objects, with the given objects of the split unit on the one hand, and on the other hand you can control the heating, so the radiators, so the water-based heating via the heating actuator, as you can see here on the lower end. And this is, let's say, for us a typical application. So one controller, so one ETR control element doing both. For us this could be a typical scenario, so cooling in the summer, so via the interface and the split unit, and heating in the winter time, controlling the heating actuator in one device. So there is another question popping up. Let's say if you want to have a time control based let's say ETR control or RTC control in combination with the device itself, or with a heating or cooling device. Yes, of course you need then a time logic, probably outside the control element and outside the heating actuator and split unit gateway. But of course even this is possible via the given objects from the ETR device itself. There is even some irritation in the transmission of the webinar. So yes, from time to time, maybe this is due to some bandwidth problems. So even just restart and checking in again, and then it should work.
Yes. Maybe before we head off to the next slide, I would also like to add in the ETR series, every ETR comes in the standard with a temperature sensor. Our ETR 103 is a little bit special because this one also have the temperature sensor natively on board.
The temperature sensor, and in this device, even with the humidity sensor.
Yes, exactly.
That's a good point, because for dehumidification, for instance, you need that information as well. So very smart, all in one. Good. Okay, so that means for this product and this application, we clearly see the application in hotel rooms, in open plant offices, public buildings, but even in retrofits in the residential. Okay, so final question regarding the ETR series, the news and highlights. What is it in regard of cost, Bastian?
Yes, that's probably the question that you ask yourself. A product with so many capabilities, how expensive can it be? We're trying to really set the ETR series as an entry point in the KNX world. Therefore, this is one of the most complete devices that we have in the series, and it's gonna have a list pricing of 119 euros. Just keep your lookout. It's a question of days until it's available. It's already in all our price lists. It's already in our web shop and can be pre-ordered. Also, the classic with which we started in the ETR series is our ETR 101, a very simple thermostat that is following a similar clear design language. This is gonna get a new price with the release of the secure version that is also coming within this year, and it's gonna be priced with 99 euros, including taxes in the list price.
Good. And what's next? So regarding our roadmap, Bastian?
Yes, so all the ETRs will be done in secure. We are very busy with this topic right now, and over the next course of weeks, one model after another one will be released, but we're definitely gonna finish it until the first quarter of 2027. If you need more information on the roadmap, on how our priority is, if you have a specific ETR device that you absolutely need in secure, kindly get in touch with us and we can talk about the prioritization also.
Perfect. You said it's a simple device. I would like to add one more thing. It's a simple device in the front end, but it is high performance in the back end. So with all the functionality, all the objects, comes with logic, comes with additional functionality. So it's just simple for the end user, comes with a high performance in the back end. Good. Okay, now we are moving into the last round. As we said in the beginning, we showed a lot of new launches on the Light and Building, as you have seen in the slides before. We also would like to show you some new topics, some very nice things which we consider later this year, maybe even beginning of 27. So this is, let's say, what we will show now. So Bastian, it's your stage again.
Yes. So if you had been in contact with Elsner and you used some of our products in the past, chances are very likely that you came across our Color series. Actually, our Color Touch AQS is a very, very successful product for us because it combines so many requests that you can have for individual room automation. One of them is air quality, for example, but you will want to control the heating, but also the shading and also the lighting. So that's what our former Color Touch could all do. And we're gonna keep it for the successor of the Color Touch. But we're gonna give it an entirely new look. From a new hardware platform, insecure, with a new IPS display with a higher resolution, and Yes, so we're just gonna update the entire product without losing the advantages that we had with the Color Touch in the past. I when I started working with an Elsner, someone told me, "Oh, I really love your Color Touch because for me it's the Swiss pocket knife for building automation. Everything that you need for one individual room in one sensor."
Cool. That means we will get all the new and existing functions in one device. There is even more to come. Let's see, there is a certain level of freedom, even for the end customer, to program and configure the pages with favorites and widgets. So, very nice to come.
Yes. So what we really don't like in the product philosophy is if you need to move through 5 pages in order to turn on off the light and turn it off. If you make a device with so much functionality, it's very easy to have a very cramped user interface that the user does not really like in the end. On the one hand, you want to enable as many functions as possible. On the other hand, you want to keep the usability as high as possible. This was the challenge that we had when we designed our new user interface and our new user experience for the Color Touch. Here you can basically see the home button, and what's very special with this one is that we're gonna work with widgets. You might, if you're an Apple user, you might know those widgets already from your iPhone. So it's basically little favorite pages that you can set in the order on your screen in order to avoid to need to go in 3 different menus in order to turn on and off the light. The special thing here is, also as Henry mentioned, we want to give this freedom of setting the favorites to the end user also, and we want to give it to them without the need of calling the system integrator if they want to change minor things. So how we imagine this is that you basically just as the system integrator, you set up the different functionalities that the customer have in his home. So for example, does he even have a temperature controller? Does it need to be activated? And once this is activated in the ETS, the end customer can set the temperature controller, for example, as a widget and can put the favorites in the order that they need. You can swipe between the favorite pages, but also you can use the arrows on the bottom end of the screen in order to go with this. We put a lot of emphasis to having only what is really necessary at one point in time in the screen, because we are in a 55 by 55, 2.5 inch is not a lot of real estate for making a very nice user interface and user experience. So this has been a challenge where we've been working on for quite some time. The user interface is ready, and we are now very, very much looking forward to the feedback on this one in the market.
Okay, so thanks, Bastian. So I'm feeling like I'm in a tele shopping session today, because there is one thing in another, or one more thing which we want to present you. So having all those features and nice things in mind, which comes with the Kala 2.4. We even bring this to ETR series, so then in a 3.4 inch KNX secure device. So that means same features, encrypt communication, a new user experience with a new user interface, a fresh design on a bigger screen, and styled in the ETR range, while offering all the functions and all the features which is needed to be called as a room controller. So that's the highlight. In addition, color, touch in a new fresh outfit, and then move to the ETR touch as well. Good. Okay. So, and another thing is coming, Bastian.
Yes. So, as we probably mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, we learned after releasing the ETR that it's very popular in the hotel context because of the ease of use. It has a very attractive pricing, and for some other reasons also. But when we lost the project, it was mostly discussions around design. How can we integrate the sockets, for example. How can we integrate USB-C sockets, USB-A sockets, and all that? This is an area where Elsner does not want to be active, but we really saw the need to getting the design closer to it, and that's why we did a design study for Light and Building 2026. It's not a study anymore because the feedback has been very, very impressive, and we took the decision that we're going to go forward and we're going to release those frames over the course of this year also. They're going to be available in 1, 2, and 3 gang, in black and in white, with a real glass surface. Also, in order to combine our KNX ETR room controllers with standard sockets from other manufacturer by keeping the same design line with our design frame.
Okay, very good. So then we are even more powerful with the ETR range as before. Good. Good. Then one more thing in the range of outdoor sensors is that our famous wind dancer, which you learned, we have in a, let's say, in a full version as a compact weather station with and without GPS. Then we have the wind dancer basic, just for wind measurement, in a reduced design. We will come up with a wind dancer Modbus as well. So the existing hardware from the wind dancer KNX will be now merged into the Modbus as well. So you will get the same values, temperature measurement, brightness, wind speed, precipitation, and let's say even the detection of time and location via the GPS receiver.
Once again, our philosophy comes into play. We are the sensor expert that is capable of speaking many different languages according to the preference of our customers and partners.
Perfect. Good. So now we are coming really to the final chapter, which is, let's say, a view on how we can use in a sensible way our sensors, our devices in a building, and even more. So in that sense, we also want to show, which we have indeed also shown on the Light and Building, a floor plan, a visualization with a floor plan where we placed all our intelligent sensors and devices. So this is, let's say, a floor plan of a residential project. Here we have, let's say, the typical rooms like the living room with a sensor mounted on the ceiling, detecting the air quality and being recognized as a presence detector. Then we have, let's say, the bedroom with the air quality sensor and the room controller. Again, a similar scenario in the kitchen. Then you can see even in the bathroom a leakage sensor, for instance, or even a control element or sensor element in the hallway. And of course, outside we consider a weather station to measure all the important values necessary for a shading control, but even for HVAC applications. So, and what we want to show here is that, let's say, by measuring all the values, this is just an example from the bedroom, we can measure, for instance, the CO2 level, in this case in the bedroom, while people are going to bed, sleeping in the night, the value is going up. And for instance, the ventilation or even the HVAC can be activated, or the air exchange level can be raised up. So this is, let's say, in a bedroom here, but it can be also considered in an office space, where with our devices you measure and giving the relevant information to the HVAC system, for instance, to have an optimal air quality in the room. So that's why we are showing this. It's not just having fun with our devices. There is also a real use case behind which we want to show in the visualization, but then later in a practical application as well. Bastian.
Yes, and also this is probably something I forgot earlier to mention when we talked about the new Color Touch. We are implementing a real CO2 sensor, and I think this is very important to hear at least once, because there are some other manufacturers, other devices that work with an VOC, so volatile organic compound equivalent, in order to calculate a CO2 value. Elsner is doing it differently. We are having real CO2 sensors integrated in our devices, because this is the figure that is interesting for us in order to control the ventilation. It's not the CO2 equivalent calculated by volatile organic compound that should be the measurement variable for automated ventilation. This is very important to hear at least once. Also, another point that is supporting this quite a bit is the EPDB regulation from the European Union from 2024, because from 2027 onwards, for not living spaces, it is mandatory to have real CO2 monitoring also. I don't want to go too deep into the norms and regulations. If you're interested in learning more about this, just give us a quick comment in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to send you the information about those issues after the webinar.
Okay, thanks for that important message. Yeah, and this is, let's say, even in our showcase, let's say the story itself. So have an eye on the air quality in the room itself, but we see also that you have in companies people, managers responsible for the energy consumption, the efficiency of a building, and those responsible instances, they even need to report sensor values, air quality in the room, combined maybe also with outdoor values or sensor values. So keep that in mind, that with our devices this is possible, even with a visualization together with our cooperation partner. Those tools providing, or let's say taking the information and providing prefabricated reports for download and further process for those kind of people in companies responsible for the buildings. So keep that in mind. So we do this for the weather station or for the outdoor weather information. So here you see the brightness again, humidity, temperature, and wind speed in this case. You can do this even for indoor, for the indoor measurement. Here you can see, let's say, a graph showing the temperature, and you can even see, let's say, an average of the temperature, the humidity, for instance, and the CO2 as well. And those reports created by the tool can be then downloaded, for instance, as PDF, and can be then further managed in the respective process. So keep that in mind. This is very important to have, let's say, the full process from the measurement in our devices over or through a visualization and reporting afterwards. Okay, so that's all for now. Bastian, do you have a question?
Not really for our audience, but I'm more than happy to answer all the questions that might have came up during the presentation. And also, since we are already coming to the end of our presentation,
Really?
Yes, quite quick, right?
Quite quick, yes. But a lot of information, a lot of news, a lot of highlights, and a lot of
Yes.
new products.
Yes, also if the topic was a little bit too fast, if you would like us to go into more detail about some topics, feel free to shoot us an email. I think I will already hop to the next slide so
Sure.
you can see where you can find us and how to contact us. We are more than happy to answer the question or hop on a quick call to help you out. We are sending automatically to everyone who has joined today's webinar with us a feedback form, and we would be very happy if you give us your opinion about the experience that you had during today's webinar. Of course, we are very happy about compliments, but what we are even more interested in is the things that we can do a little bit better next time.
Yes, for sure. Good. No further questions? Okay. So time is running. So we are at the end. Thank you. And also have a nice day. Back to you guys in front of the monitors. And see you then.
See you then. Thanks for joining Elsner Academy today. Bye bye.
Bye bye.